City. What are you doing? What a weird game of football. So it's been about half an hour now since the full-time whistle. It's given me a little bit of time to think about how I feel about this game of football. Frustration. Absolutely frustrated. It's hard not to be frustrated as a City fan when you watch your team sort of waste a chance to go level with Arsenal, to go 2 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. It's hard not to be very frustrated by that. It really is. I've sort of sobered a little bit already in the final half an hour. I'll get to why in a second, but I'll talk about the performance first. I was frustrated. We should have won that today. Chelsea were good. We made a lot of mistakes, though. An awful lot of mistakes. But ultimately, this comes down to wastefulness. I don't feel like we deserve to win. I think if you're wasteful in front of goal, you don't deserve to win. I'm one who will never use XG as proof that we deserve to win a game. You only deserve to win a game if you can take chances. I only ever feel frustrated about losing a game that we didn't score or feel like we deserved if we get bad refereeing. You know what I mean? And you could argue about that today, by the way. But I don't feel that the refereeing affected the game enough for us to warrant complaining about it. I don't feel like he did, you know. To me, I feel like it was entirely on us. I feel like it was on us, basically, the result today. So I'm not going to complain about the referee too much. I'm not going to make any complaints about the referee. I don't think it is. I don't think there was a penalty at the end there. I don't think there was a penalty on Haaland either. Casino could have been sent off. Probably should have been. But other than that, I don't really feel that the referee did much wrong, really. Frustrating, but I can't complain about the referee. I just saw someone say Doc Early's worst game in a City shirt. I feel like I'm watching a different game. He created 3 big chances. A couple of crosses hit the defender, but he also put in some really good crosses that no one attacked. He literally created 3 big chances. I don't understand. I feel like sometimes people make their minds up and then watch a game based on the mind that they've made up. I don't understand the Docky frustration. I feel like I did watch a different game. You know, anyway, it's irrelevant. Danny Stewland with the super chat says Eddie was amazing, made up for midweek. Thank you so much for the super chat, Danny. You're absolutely right, by the way. Eddie was amazing. He one slow pass in the first half, but other than that, we got caught on the ball. But other than that, I thought he made massive saves. Absolutely. Thank you, Danny, for the super chat. It is hugely appreciated. But overall, the problem with the game for me is ultimately it comes down to 2 issues. We don't have the control when we play a Kanji instead of Stones there, and we play Alvarez through the middle as a midfielder. We don't seem to have the cohesion. And I think it's not necessarily because we don't keep the ball perfectly. It's because we don't move as a team. When you think about Manchester City and how we move when we've got the ball, we move up the pitch together slowly, we work the ball up, and then we sort of move as a whole collective, and we sort of camp right in their half, and we make chances that way. I don't see City doing that when we play this way. It feels very disconnected. What you get is a really wide Manchester City. It's not compact. You get a massive gap between the defenders and the midfielders, and it comes very easily to counter us. Now, I don't actually think defensively the individuals are that good. So even though I'm not blaming the defenders as such, I don't think the defenders play well, but I think it's more the disconnect from the team. And it's so disjointed that I feel that's the main problem there. I feel this is where we're going wrong, you know. We're seeing City just sort of look far too open. It's far too easy to get chances against this City side. Like, all it is one ball behind us. And this is where we're at, you know. It feels very frustrating. Very frustrating. And to me, it's not good enough, you know. Someone's saying Haaland, Doku's crosses weren't good enough. There was one where he whipped it to the back post, which Haaland got onto. There was another one where he played it perfectly, but no one attacked. There was one where he put it on the head of Haaland, who put it over. He put in some good crosses. So I don't think, once again, I don't understand. I thought he was one of the only competent ones today as well. People will make their minds up, I guess. A lot of the forwards, if anyone's got an issue today, it should be with, in my opinion, Erling Haaland. Like, I love Erling Haaland, but you can't miss that many chances. Amara Riff with the super chat here, going big, saying I would take 150 million for Haaland back to false 9. Look, I think that's an emotional reaction. Maybe you're right. I think Haaland's finishing has sort of slowed down since around April. Yeah, I can't deny it. He hasn't been quite as clinical this season as he was last season. It was around April last season, April, May, where he started to slow down a little bit. Guardiola said he felt like he tired a bit and wasn't used to playing this many games. I think we need to remember Haaland's only young. But I don't think he's at his very best. But then you look at the finishing of the Everton game and go to this one, you're like, where's that man? I respect your opinion though, mate. It is down to Haaland missing chances today. Like, we need to be better than that. We need to take it. KDB didn't have his best game either, but KDB should have had an assist, you know? KDB put in some wonderful crosses that Haaland, you know, should have finished. Ultimately, the finishing cost us. And I think the gap between the defenders and the midfield is just too much. I don't think it's fair to say KDB seemed uninterested, which someone said in the chat. KDB is never going to be uninterested. He isn't. KDB is an elite level pro. KDB cares immensely. And I think there's a lazy tendency to say players aren't interested or aren't trying hard enough if we don't score or don't win. That's just not true. It's not true. You know. It's also worth raising the point that Haaland's had a really tough week, you know. Haaland has lost his grandma, which is awful. I don't know how close he was to his grandma, but either way, you know, it's an awful lot for a young man to go through. It is painful. He's allowed a bad week in any week because he's a human being, but particularly we've got to be empathetic towards him in this week. I know though this is not a new thing. Haaland's been missing big chances like this for all season. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see today being another example. But I watched yesterday, and my main issues, if I'm looking at this side, I'm thinking as good as Pep is, I think Pep every now and then knows he puts a team out that isn't ideal. I think he does. He puts a team out that can win, and he could have won. The stats show you right there. But I think Pep is playing this Alvarez through the middle thing because I think he understands that Alvarez brings chances and he brings goals. He does. But when I look at Manchester City at the very best, I look at David Silva, I look at Ilkay Gundogan, I look at those midfielders, Bernardo Silva playing there. I look at these beautiful, intelligent players who are saying the ball so well, who slow the game down when we need them to, who are brilliant in the pockets, who have excellent 360 vision, they have impeccable touch. And I think that alongside Kevin De Bruyne, I think that perfect combination of elegance and then brute force of Kevin De Bruyne. It feels like what we've got now is brute force with Kevin De Bruyne and sort of not quite a subtle brute force with Alvarez. Alvarez is like a 5 out of 10 impression of Kevin De Bruyne. Still a good player. He's a very good player. He's an excellent player. Let's not rewrite the narrative here around Alvarez. So I think what's the best solution here? To me, it's Phil Foden still. Phil Foden is starting to learn how to do this David Silva sort of look at Gundogan thing. He's keeping the ball. He's drifting into the pockets. He's been absolutely brilliant scoring goals and creating chances. Phil should be there alongside Kevin De Bruyne. He should be. May seem harsh to not play Alvarez, but then the question is, of course, who plays on the right? Oscar Bob deserves it, in my opinion. Put Oscar Bob out there. I don't really care. Rico Lewis out there. Whoever. I don't care who goes out there. Mateus Nunes out there. But Phil, to me, absolutely, right now, should be in the middle. He should be. Like, Phil should be in the middle, getting a lot of touches on the ball and creating chances. You know, Phil absolutely is our main man there. 2 key passes today, 93% pass accuracy, but it's not enough. I want him more central. Look at the red there. He's too far out on the right there. He needs to be through the middle. And it's frustrating when you see Phil not be through the centre, especially if we've not got, you know, Bernardo available from the start. And I don't mind Stones and Bernardo not playing if he's injury-wise, you know? Like, Bernardo is... He's going to start if he's available, but he had a knock, obviously. He came on eventually. Pep didn't want to play him, so you could tell. He didn't want to play him. And I don't think if he was... I don't think he would have not have started if he was available, you know? Also, John Stones would be played if he was fit. Simple as that. Stones, no, we say Stones should have started, but no. Stones played Copenhagen, he played Everton. Pep is not going to play Stones 3 games in a row. He's not going to play 3 games in a row. He isn't. Because of fitness. Super chat here, by the way, from Amar Riff, saying, how can you be 6'4" and not head the ball? He's 6'5". Do you know what? I actually feel like the reason Haaland is a bad header is because actually he had a growth spurt. I know he should be better at heading by now, by the way. But Haaland, if you watch Haaland as a kid, he was about 5'11", 6 foot until he was about 19. Then he had a massive growth spurt. Haaland just got way bigger. Look at Haaland at Salzburg. And he's so much smaller. Haaland's had a massive growth spurt over the last 3 or 4 years. And he's gone from being... He was more of an in-behind striker, Haaland. He was a runner. He was more of a runner. Like, if you look at him now compared to 3 or 4 years ago, he's a totally different player in terms of his height and his physique. I don't think he ever learned how to be a great header of the ball, Haaland, because he was actually a guy who ran in behind, and he was more of a pace, get on, and bang it in with his finishing. He was never been a great header, because he never was a big man. He was always tall, but he was more like 5'11", 6 foot until he had a massive 4-5 inch growth spurt. I don't think he's actually, and he's not a guy who's always been taller than everyone else. Like, you look at him early on, and he isn't that. I know that sounds wild. He should learn it, I agree. But you got to bear in mind, he's only 23. Hopefully he'll get better. But he isn't that, actually. And once again, I don't think it was a handball at the end, by the way. I don't think it was. I don't think the defender had anything he could have done, I don't think the ball just hit him, and his arms were raised by his side, It is what it is. I don't think it was a handball at the end. I know we all want it to be, but the guy had no idea what was going on. It happened in a second, and it just hit him, and he was almost like, I did that. Like, I don't think it was a penalty. I don't think we should have had any penalties today. I'm honest there. I think they were all soft. I would have been furious if that had gone against us. I would have been. The one at the back post with Chilwell, I thought Haaland was pulling him down too, so, is what it is. He changed the direction of the ball with his hand. Well, naturally, if the ball hits your hand, it's got to go in a different direction, but he didn't do it, like, his arms were by his side. He dropped down into his chest. I don't think he could have done much. Like, I'm a City fan. I've got every right to sit here and claim that's a penalty, but I don't think it was. I'm going to be honest about it. I don't think it was a penalty. I think the performance today and the result is entirely down to us. I think it's entirely down to us. Look, going back to the point earlier, I do think Caicedo, by the way, too lean on Caicedo. He should have been off. Absolutely should have been off Caicedo. The referee let him off today. But going back to the issue, Phil, to me, has to be playing central. It has to be. He's just too good right now. He's absolutely too good not to be central. But anyway, I'm not going to panic. As frustrating as it was today, I'm not going to panic. Well, there's the table. We win today, we've been 55 points. We're not game in hand, we're top of the table, 58. It still then comes down to Anfield and Arsenal at home. It does come down to that. We lose at Anfield, we're not top. We lose Liverpool, Arsenal at home, we're not top. It really is as simple as that. So, to me, I'm not going to panic today. We have to fix the sloppy defending. We have to. He didn't slap the ball in the opposite direction. Fembani, if you watch the replay in a third of the speed, it looks like he moves his arm. If you watch it in normal time, that happens in... It happens in a... Like that. When people do that, it looks like, if you slow it down, they go like that and flick their arm out. But they just kind of jump forward. Like, he doesn't slap it away with his arm at all. I hate slow motion replays. Like, I really hate slow motion replays. They create a narrative that a player's moving towards a ball, when actually they're not. They're not. It's just, you see it in 1/5 of the speed. And everything looks sinister in slow motion. But if you just kind of move, and anything that's natural looks unnatural. And I hate it. I don't think it's fair. And I'm a City fan passionately defending it here, so it says it all. He doesn't slap the ball away at all. He doesn't, man. He doesn't. It's just replays make it look that way. Find it and watch it in full speed. He has no idea what's going on. It just hits him. I guarantee you. But either way, let's not divert away from the fact that we should have scored. We should have scored. We should have took our chances. XG of 2.91. There we go. We have to take our chances. I'm not going to panic, but we need to be better than that. Guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll do a 5 things learned tomorrow. I'm going to leave it there because I don't think I've much more to say other than we need to be better in this middle. We need to find a way to play with. If Stones is not going to be there, Kanji doesn't work there. If we haven't got... to be honest, I feel like Foden should be central. I think Kovacic, if he was available, would have been perfect for today. But Alvarez, it's just not working there. Pep, you took him off against Everton. You took him off today. It's not working. It isn't working when you play him central. As Bandil said, please give the video a like. I know it wasn't a performance today, but we need to be realistic. It isn't the end of the season. We've got an awful lot of football to play. Ultimately, it doesn't change too much. We should be okay if we win those games. It's going to come down to those games. Today doesn't change that. Come on, you Blues. Bye-bye.